Hello and welcome to this session. This is Professor Farhat, in which we will focus on several other titles of Sarbanes-Oxley SOX, and specifically we will be looking at legal consequences of fraud under SOX. We'll look at Title VIII, we'll look at Title VI, we will revisit Title IV. Briefly, we'll talk about penalties for various crimes, like for document tampering, whistleblower protection, criminal and securities fraud. This will be the lesson for today, and hopefully at this point we will have covered what we need to cover as far as Sarbanes-Oxley for the CPA exam. So Title VIII focuses on fraud enforcement and accountability. The goal for this is to prevent manipulation of financial record, basically cooking the books. It protects the individual who report frauds and impose severe penalties for fraudulent activity. So if you committed the fraud, you're going to be penalized. If you reported, you're going to be protected. So it's illegal, simply put, to interfere with financial record during an investigation. Especially during an investigation, you cannot erase emails, shred any paperwork, so on and so forth. So prohibited action would include destroying document, altering or falsifying record, concealing important information, because the penalty is stiff. It could be a fine, imprisonment up to 20 years, or both. The picture that I want you to keep in mind as we're going through this is the Arthur Andersen when they shred their Enron audit paperwork. So they took all the paperwork and they put it in the shredder and start to hide evidence, which led to the collapse of the firm and the losses of 85,000 jobs and the stock market, so on and so forth. So that's why the government now make sure corporations understand and auditors understand what records you need to keep. So this is what we will discuss in this session. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, FarhatLectures.com. Most students and CPA candidates struggle not because audit is too hard, but because it's taught fast and the logic behind the procedure isn't explained clearly. Then everything feels disconnected. At Farhat Lectures, we break audit down step by step. We explain the why behind the standards, the logic behind the assertions, risks, procedures, evidence, so the whole process finally clicks. When the concepts connect, audit becomes clear and manageable. You stop memorizing and start understanding. Ready for auditing to make sense? Start your free trial at farhatlectures.com. We will start with auditor responsibility because we talked about management responsibility for maintaining audit documentation, which was for 7 years. Auditor will have to do the same thing. Failure would result in fines or imprisonment for 10 years. So you got to be careful. And this ensures evidence is preserved. The reason why we want the document, because in accounting, everything is based on document, source document. Now, how long do we have to filing for fraud claims? There are time limits. There is no unlimited time. The rule is this. There is a 2-year rule. Claims must be filed within 2 years of discovering fraud. So after you discover the fraud, you have 2 years to file. And there is the 5-year rule. Absolute limit of 5 years from when the fraud occurs. So after 5 years, we're done. And the earlier of the two will apply. An individual who commit fraud face severe consequences. Again, the severe consequences will be fine, up to 25 years in prison, that's the worst, or both. And this reflects the seriousness of misleading investors. Why is this important? We need to go on a short tangent here. Because as auditors or as officers in a public company, we protect the public. In what sense? The company is owned by investors who are ignorant about what's happening. So it's your job to protect their interests as an auditor or as an officer. As an officer, you are elected by them. As an auditor, you are paid to do so. Therefore, if you commit fraud or hide fraud or help the company commit fraud as an auditor or as an officer, you are in big trouble. Because we need the stock market to work. We need our financial system to be healthy. We have to have trust amongst people who provide capital, investors, and the labor, the people who provide the work, the entrepreneurs.
Whistleblower protection, employees who report fraud are legally protected. And this is the picture that I want you to keep in mind every time you hear whistleblower. I want you to think of Sharon Watkins of Enron and Cynthia Cooper of the WorldCom and Colin Rowley of the FBI. But that's not corporate, that's government. But basically what we want to do is we want to protect those whistleblowers, people that go ahead and report fraud. We want to protect them. We want to protect them from what? From being fired, from being demoted, from being harassed, from being discriminated against. If retaliation occurs, the employer can file, and the employee will file a complaint against the employer and receive reinstatement, back pay with interest, and maybe compensating damages, including legal cost. And this is what for the whistleblower protection. Encourage employees like Cynthia Cooper, Sharon Watkins to come forward. Now let's move to Title IV. Actually, back to Title IV. Title IV increased the seriousness of white-collar crime, business crime, by expanding the criminal liability, increasing the prison sentence, and holding executives personally accountable. Again, Sarbanes-Oxley trying to deter officers, executives from what? From committing fraud. You don't want as an executives commit fraud and go worst case situation to what's called a country club jail or go to jail only at night or something like that. You want to have serious consequences. WorldCom CEO Bernie Ebbard received 25 years in prison under enhancements, SOX penalties for orchestrating an $11 billion accounting fraud. Do you have to commit fraud? No. Attempt and conspiracy, you'll be in trouble. SOX does not punish completed fraud. It also penalizes attempt to commit fraud or conspiring with others. And the people involved face the same penalties as if the crime were committed. Sentencing guidelines were strengthened to increase the punishment level. So maximum prison sentence for fraud increases from 5 to 25. Fraud is the worst, and fines would also be imposed. So this rule closes the loophole where individual previously avoided punishment if the fraud was not successful, was not completed. Now, if you attempt or if you conspire, you're in trouble. Executive certification of financial report. This is important. SOX want the executive signature. Signature means you are personally liable for the financial statements, the information that's in there. The executives must confirm that they reviewed the report. They did it personally. The report is fairly presented. The financial statements are true. They accurately reflect the company's financial condition. No material misstatement or omission. Internal controls are working properly. Controls have been evaluated with the recent period, 90 days, for example. Disclosure of weaknesses, any deficiencies. If we find any deficiencies in internal control, we need to disclose them. Don't worry, if you don't know what internal control are, we're going to talk about them much more in depth. Here we're just talking about Sarbanes-Oxley. And any fraud, even minor, involving management must be reported. Now, penalties for false certification. Well, executives face serious penalties if they signed and they were not aware. They should have been aware. Okay. Known violation up to $1 million fine and or 10 years in prison. Willful up to $5 million and or 20 years in prison. And why this matter? Again, eliminate this "I did not know" defense, because many executives, I believe the WorldCom and the Enron, they both said, I just did not know, or I don't understand accounting. I looked at the numbers and I don't understand them. Well, you can no longer say that now. You have to certify. If you don't understand them, get someone to explain them to you. So force executives to take ownership of financial reporting, and this increased investor confidence. And that's the main purpose of Sarbanes-Oxley, to help the public regain confidence in the stock market. Now let's take a look now at Title VI from the Sarbanes-Oxley. It focuses on strong enhancement and accountability, and it gives regulators, especially the SEC, greater power to punish fraud, prevent obstruction of investigation, protect individuals who report wrongdoing. Again, Sherry Watkins. Also, tampering with record. It's illegal to interfere with document that might be used in an investigation. Altering record, destroying document, concealing information, shredding. The violation occurs when there's an intent to obstruct an investigation, reduce the availability of the evidence. Notice intent. Intent. The penalty would include fines, 20 years in prison, or both. Again, we want to preserve the evidence because that's the integrity of our system, the court, and the court cannot function without the evidence. Also, the SEC will have what's called temporary freeze authority. They have the power to freeze funds during an investigation. And when does this apply? When a company or its executives are under investigation, and when penalties or restitution may be required, because look, we might need this money to pay for victims. Therefore, the way it works, the SEC can request a court order to put the funds in an escrow account. Just freeze it up to 45 days. And this will prevent individuals from hiding or transferring funds before penalties are enforced. Is this the only thing that the SEC can do? No. They can tell individuals you cannot have certain jobs. The SEC can prevent individuals from serving in leadership. And we're talking about being directors, officers, if they violated any securities law, determination that that individual is unfit, basically, and you would have a ban from leadership position. It could be temporary or it could be permanent. And if it's permanent, that's it. You can no longer be hired by a company in an executive or officer capacity. And this protects companies and investors from repeated offenders because research shows that people that commit fraud, white-collar fraud, they do so repeatedly. That's why the SEC wants to say, you know what, you're out, that's it, even for 5, 10 years or permanently. The SEC also have some power against retaliation, against informant. Informant here kind of again, think of whistleblower. Illegal action include threatening, harassing, discriminating, taking any harmful action against informant. Here they call them like informant because you're talking to the SEC. The penalties would include fines and up to 10 years in prison or both. And this encourage was protecting whistleblowers, informant. To a great degree, the purpose of Sarbanes-Oxley is to increase investor confidence in what? In publicly traded companies, in the public market. Because without that trust, our capital system will fall apart. Let's take a look at this multiple choice question from farhatlectures.com. What's the primary purpose of the SEC temporary freeze authority? So the SEC have something called temporary freeze. Is it to increase the company's profit? Well, first of all, SEC, they should not be helping you in your profit, so out. Prevent transfer of fund during investigation, reduce audit fees, replace internal control. I mean, replace an internal control, it's a big one, so I would say out. Reduce audit fees. Why would the SEC want to reduce audit fees? Okay, so the purpose for the freeze is to prevent transfer of fund during investigation, especially when there's restitution. It means we have to pay back some of the victims. Therefore, the SEC have the authority to say, you know what? You can no longer transfer funds from the company or from the executive's account. They'll get a court order until the investigation is over. What should you do now? You should go to Farhat Lectures, look at additional resources, whether you are studying for the CPA exam or any other professional certification. The best investment you can make is invest in yourself. Don't shortchange yourself and stay safe.